So let's see what's coming up for Pisces. Looks like the opening of the month. Wow, there's some really interesting stuff about following either what is expected of you or rebelling against that. There's an opening to the month of someone who's an earth sign who's showing up as kind of a younger person. Knight of Coins can either be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. And knights are usually younger people, and knights have to do with like managing of finances, budgeting, someone who's evaluating their values, their possessions, or their assets, what is theirs. And with this in the reverse position, it may be saying that you're not connecting with your own personal values, assets, possessions. He's a card that is really concerned about the bottom line of things. So he weighs and evaluates things carefully. So with this in the reverse position, this could either be an earth sign who is not being helpful to you, who's acting on the young side of themselves. That could either be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Or it could be that your assessment of your own possessions, values, and assets is in shadow. It's in delay, or you're not seeing the higher side of that. It's also interesting to have Hierophant and Hangman in reverse right next to one another. These two are very opposite characters. One, Hierophant is concerned with the social mores, traditions, outer appearances, keeping the status quo and maintaining the status quo. And this one is about marching to the beat of his own drum and doing things his own unique way. So it's actually interesting because Hangman in the upright position is upside down. So, when he is, it looks like he's upright when he's like going along with the whole thing, but his true identity is hanging upside down, marching to the beat of his own drum, not caring what anybody else thinks. So it's interesting that you have both of those showing up. There might be some way in the beginning of June that there's a conflict between what others are expecting of you, the traditions, the social mores, what's believed of how you're supposed to act, behave, etiquette, diplomacy, social mores, manners, all of that. That's in reverse. So whatever's in tradition is not seeing things clearly. It's seeing things through its own dogma. And your challenge here is to do things in your own unique way. You don't necessarily have to rebel against anything in order to fulfill this, but there's great spiritual fulfillment here in staying true to yourself, staying true to your own ideals, not of that of which is being handed down to you or being said by this Hierophant here. So I'm going to encourage you at the beginning of June, Pisces, to march to the beat of your own drum, even if it looks separate from what the outer world is suggesting that you do, or if it's breaking tradition or breaking the status quo. This is a place where you're hung up to be seen by the rest of society, but it's actually a place of comfort. It's a place of serenity, and he has spiritual awakening in this position. And it is being in alignment and in truth with yourself. So even if the outside world is saying, no, you have to do it this way, I'm going to encourage you to be willing to identify with Hangman here and be true to yourself, because there is great freedom in that. This is Fool, which is meaning like not having a care in the world, being carefree, feeling like all things are open. This is a card of faith and trust, meaning that if you leap, you believe and know that the world's going to catch you, that it's a trust in the divine nature of things, and it's a trust in the goodness of the world. It's like someone who goes on an adventure and is excited by it. It's like all things are open. There's an innocence, a freedom, a carefreeness a joyfulness that goes along with this card. So what I'm seeing is that by identifying that, by adhering and being true to yourself here, you actually end up in a place of being Fool, which is being open, trusting, connecting to all things being possible. It's sort of like being childlike again, feeling free like a child does before it has any burdens. So, and there's an innocence that goes along with that. So that's the beginning of June for you, Pisces. I also see this card is you, Pisces. This is a water sign. So Queen of Cups is either Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer, but I'm reading it as you here. And this is someone who has mastery over their emotions. So you may experience that in the middle of the month. Middle of June, you may experience a lot of serenity. Queen of Cups is tender, loving, psychic. She's compassionate. She operates from the heart. So this is a master of your emotions, and you're kind of like looking away from everything else. It's almost like you're tuning into yourself. It's kind of, I'm seeing it as having overtones of this card in the sense of this is being true to yourself. This is experiencing the freedom and carefreeness. And then this is having mastery over your emotions. So that's a nice progression there, Pisces. Just don't get caught up in feeling like you need to fulfill everyone else's or outer society's expectations of you. That's what's going on with this card. Because you might have some fear or doubt about that. There might be, with that in reverse, it might be saying, this is what's expected of you and you're not doing it. Or this is what you think people expect of you and you're not adhering to that. There is a way in which right now your vision is impeded and with your work. This is 8 of Coins, which is how we earn our living. And this is 3 of Wands, which is our vision of what we'd like to create. This is the visionary card. He surveys the landscape and says, what do I want to create? What do I want to dream? What do I want to build? And 8 of Coins is just like busy working away. Kind of whistles while he works, kind of loves it, but mostly it's just for the sake of creating stuff, for creating money, creating things to sell. I want to ask you in the middle of the month, does your vision align with your work? That I'm seeing for some reason that the split, if it was like this, it would be different. But because, if they were facing each other, that would be different. They're looking away from one another. So there's a disconnect between the way that you are earning your living and the vision that you want to create. Is your livelihood living up to your visions of it? Because what this is telling me, followed by this, is that there's a belief system that needs to end. There may be a way in which you have believed in the past, possibly, I'm going to just offer this, that you had to put away your dreams and goals in order to earn a living. That's what this in reverse is saying. And that may be an old, outdated belief system. Regardless of what it is, this 10 of Swords represents the end of a cycle. And swords represent our ideas, our beliefs, our thoughts. So all of these together are a belief system. They're individually thoughts, beliefs, things that are, just actions of the mind. And collectively, it's a belief system. It's something that we think over and over again. And that's actually draining the life force out of this person. It's a belief system that needs to end, that needs to be discarded, because 10 is a number of completion. And you can see that in this card, it's not surveying the person. It's not allowing them to continue. It's something that is outdated, and it's causing them to bottom out. In fact, this card is called bottoming out. So what I'm seeing in the middle of the month here is you may need to do some inner reflection. You've got a good handle on what your heart wants, your emotion. I want you to consider, how does your work differ or disconnect from your vision of it, especially your vision of what your career is or what your work is. And then see if you may need to let go of an outdated belief system that is no longer serving you, that is no longer bringing you life. That's going to be a big theme for the middle of June for you, Pisces. And then at the end of the month, there's some big change coming that you might be resisting or fearful of or in doubt, or it may cause nervousness or tension or stress or anxiety only to the degree by which you resist it. So change is coming. That's what Tower represents. It's sudden, it's dramatic, it's like, stuff is big changes. The old foundation is breaking down. And that can be a good thing. But in the reverse position, it tells me that there may be some resistance on your part to that. There may be some fear about that. It looks like you may have someone in your environment who is just considering themselves or is just kind of centered in me behavior. This could be you, Pisces, or it could be someone that you're interacting with. So be careful, be on the lookout for that kind of behavior, whether it's yourself or someone else. And that is someone who's willing to cut corners, to and just make sure that they get theirs. It's kind of thief energy. It's someone who's willing to just run off with what's theirs, and they're not really considering the impact on others. So you may want to, this says, be honest, have open dialogues. Be on the lookout for this kind of behavior, especially around the time when things are changing. I do see at the end of the month that you have success. This is Six of Wands. So this is like a rescuer, the guy who rides in on the white horse, and it's victory. So you may need to employ someone to help you get to that victory. That someone may come in like a crusader or a rescuer type person to help you get to that success. But Six of Wands means success and victory and applause and recognition. If any of you are working towards a diploma or status or title or promotion, this card is a good signifier of that. And then at the end of the month, this Page of Coins, which is, considering how the money comes in. Could be a job offer or lifestyle. Page is a young person who is full of willingness and optimism towards whatever element they represent. And then this one is coins, so it represents money, lifestyle, possessions, assets. It's being willing to receive money, being willing to take the job offer, being willing to accept the new possession or asset or accept the new lifestyle. He's just very open and he's willing, and he's actually looking at this card of Six of Wands of success. So he's saying, okay, wow, there's success there. I'm associating myself with this person. I'm putting myself in a position of openness, of receptivity.